What up? It's your boy, Nick Incredible, man. And yes, I am back at it again, and I have to apologize yet again because I didn't review New Amsterdam when it actually dropped, because normally I DVR it, and I forgot to, so I had to wait for the legal website to actually drop the episode so I can watch it. And this is my review of New Amsterdam Season 3, Episode 7, and there was a lot of stuff going on in this episode, man. Let's get into it. Before we can even talk about the episode, we have to talk about the fact that Dr. Kapoor, aka VJ, is no longer going to be on the show because news dropped in the headline and everything that the actor that plays him, which is Anupam Kher, I hope I said that right, exits NBC medical drama as series regular, will not return as Dr. VJ Kapoor. Let me see if you guys can see that. Can you focus on that? Like, can you see that? Okay, maybe it's kind of bright. But anyway, it shows that he's no longer going to be on the show anymore. Let me read some of the article. New Amsterdam is one doctor short of Anupam Kher, who portrays Dr. VJ Kapoor, has exited the NBC medical drama. Deadline has confirmed the news of Kher's exit follows New Amsterdam's Tuesday night episode in which staffers of Bellevue Hospital learned that Dr. Kapoor resigned from his duties. New Amsterdam Season 3 kicked off with hospital staffers facing the COVID-19 pandemic head-on. As the case in real life, members of Bellevue contracted the infectious disease, including Kher's Dr. Kapoor, who also underwent open heart surgery. Kher appeared on David Schumler's NBC drama as a series regular since the show's debut in 2018. The actor's exit from the show comes just days after he told the Hinduistan Times that his wife, actress Kiran Kher, has been diagnosed with a type of blood cancer. Oh, so like he has to help his wife. Oh man, that's messed up. Kiran has been diagnosed with multiple myeloma, a type of blood cancer. She is currently undergoing treatment, and we are sure she will come out of this stronger than before, he told a local publication. We are very blessed that she is being looked after by a phenomenal set of doctors. New Amsterdam is inspired by Dr. Eric Mannheimer's memoir, 12 Patients' Life and the Death at Bellevue Hospital in his 15 years as medical director of the hospital. Okay, so now it just kind of just breaks everything else down. But the reason he's leaving is because he's there to help his wife in her time of need. So that's totally understandable. But they also wrote it. Anyway, they written it into the story of this episode of him, not being completely well after his open heart surgery and contracting COVID. So one of his doctors told him that he would never be able to be a doctor again anymore. So that kind of hit him hard, and we see that in this episode that he's not returning because he can't be a doctor anymore, and that kind of affected him a little bit. So he just decided not to return to work anymore. So I like how they've written him out of the story, but the real reason he left is to help take care of his wife in her time of need. So huge shout out to that man, and I pray and hope that everything goes wonderful and his wife comes out stronger than ever on the other side of this. Like I said, this episode was something different, man, and that whole situation in that moment, it affected Iggy a little bit in this episode as well, because Iggy kind of looked at VJ as that father figure, and now that he's not there, Iggy doesn't really know what to do, because we see Iggy kind of spiraling a little bit in this entire episode, still dealing with his body shame, and the fact that VJ's not there, and he left all kinds of messages on VJ's answering machine because he was upset at VJ for leaving and then not telling him because they were supposed to be friends. But we see why VJ didn't tell him. We understand why. And at the end of the episode, we see Ella actually telling Iggy what's going on with Dr. Kapoor and why he done it the way that he did, and even how he felt that Iggy always helped him in certain situations and even helped his patients. So everything that Ella told Iggy helped Iggy in the long run, and it meant a lot to him because it came from Dr. Kapoor. So that helped Iggy by the end of the episode kind of a little bit, at least in this episode, deal with his body shame and accept who he really is in his own skin. Now, that was one of the highlights of this episode that I really enjoyed. Now, the rest of it is kind of going to take a detour because just because of what happened with this episode. There was a lot of stuff in this episode, man. Whether it was religion, homosexuality. There was a lot of stuff going into this episode, and you guys know I don't talk about my religion or anything on my channel because that's not what I wanted my channel to be. If I wanted a religious channel, I would have made a religious channel, but I didn't want that because I wanted to talk about movies and TV shows and reactions to trailers and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted, and that's what my channel is. But this episode kind of dove into all of that, and I wouldn't be a good reviewer if I didn't kind of just break into all of that. So, I am a Christian. I'm not ashamed to say it. I say it 100%, and I just don't say it in all my videos because that makes no sense to just say it in randomly videos. But religion and homosexuality and everything else tied into this episode, so I'm just going to put it on out there. I am a Christian, and a lot of stuff that was going on with this episode about people's homosexuality and everything, that's not for me. But I am not here to judge. I mean, if that's what floats your boat and that's what you like, man, that's you. That is your life. You got to live your life. No one can live your life for you. Hey, that's your life. Don't nobody tell me what to do with mine, and I won't tell nobody what to do with theirs. But that's just not for me. But this episode really touched on the fact of that the people of the homosexuality community get discriminated against, and it's just like any other kind of discrimination. Discrimination is wrong in any kind of sense of the word. And we learned that one of the former medical doctors of the hospital rejected homosexuality, well, not homosexuality, but homosexuals' blood during middle of the HIV pandemic, if you will, because we see that this episode they were kind of honoring this dude a little bit. And we learned that like they decided to give free treatment to anyone that was, free testing and treatment to anyone that was diagnosed with HIV and stuff. So that's where all this kind of ties in. And we see that the former medical director, he ended up disposing of a bunch of blood that someone schemed and concocted to get a bunch of blood from homosexual patients, which was good blood. And he ended up discarding it all because they were homosexual. And then there was this whole thing with the FDA. Now, like I said at the beginning, I'm a Christian and I don't believe in it, but I mean, whatever floats your boat, man, and that's your life. But blood is blood. Their sex, not their sex, their sexuality, their religion or anything, that has nothing to do with blood. And if the blood wasn't contaminated, which is all blood is screened before, it gets accepted or whatever. So if the blood wasn't contaminated, why does it matter if it came from homosexual people or not? Good blood is good blood, no matter where it came from. And I felt like that was the moral of the message of this episode, whether they were homosexual or not. The blood is blood, and it was good blood. The dude, like, sure, he might have done it illegally and falsified documents and everything, but the blood had to be screened, and it was good blood. And that's the whole part that just made me kind of upset about the whole situation, is because, as a Christian, I don't judge anybody. I may not agree with what you do, but I'm not going to judge you for it. That's your life. You got to live your own life. And I'm not trying to make this sound like a whole message or anything like that. I'm just saying, a lot of people tend to take Christianity the wrong route. But this episode also tied into like what Reynolds was, with Reynolds' patients, with the religion aspect and the homosexuality aspect as well, because he has a patient that he's homosexual, but he doesn't really want to be, because he loves going to church. He loves his religion, and he wants to actually be married to a woman and have kids and all this other stuff. So Reynolds found a way around it, and even helped his elder or his pastor or something, helped him see the fact. And then Bloom comes in with her whole, I don't know what it was, being honest. And what I feel about that whole situation is, I feel like Reynolds was in the right. I'm gonna be 100%. He likes his religion more, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. He's not hiding the fact that, he likes men, but that's not what he wants. He likes he likes being a part of the church, helping people, helping his community. That's what the dude stated. He likes doing that. And Bloom came in, was like, well, he shouldn't have to hide his heart. That's true. He shouldn't. But it's a volatile situation. But what I'm saying is, I kind of lean to more the Reynolds aspect, because I feel like if that's what the dude wanted, whether that's not what his, like, when, you know, like, his heart or whatever, but like, if that's what he wants, it's his life. Let him live his life the way that he want to. It doesn't matter whether, you know, like, he likes men, but he's going to sit that to the side because he wants to help his community and have kids and have a wife. Sure. That's what he wants. That's how he wants to handle his life, how he wants to live his life. If I wanted to live my life as somebody that walked around with purple skin for the rest of my life, if I wanted to do that, that's my God-given right to dye my skin purple and constantly walk around the neighborhood and tie my hair up. That's my life. Or and get a Power Rangers uniform and just dress up like Power Rangers because I love Power Rangers as a kid, and walk around and try to save people. May get killed because, you know, a lot of people walk around with guns and stuff. But if I wanted to do that, that's my life. So I lean more towards the aspect of Reynolds. It may not be, you know, the right thing to do, but if that dude wanted to do that with his life, if that's what he wanted, that's his life. But I felt like they were angling at that moment to kind of show us a little bit of what Bloom may be possibly in the future. Bloom may be a little bisexual, or that's what they were hyping up with her and the chick that lives in the closet. So it might be hyping up their relationship or something. I honestly don't know, but I felt like that's the angle that we were going with Bloom stating a bunch of the stuff that she stated in this episode pertaining to the case that her and Reynolds worked on together. Now we're dealing with Max this episode, trying to resolve the whole case, and ties into all of that. But he's also dealing with the fact that Luna's now biting people because she misses her grandmother. And Max finally admits that he needs help with Luna because he can't constantly watch Luna and focus on the hospital with all these situations that keep arising with the hospital. So he decided to call her grandmother and admit that he needed help. So the grandmother's going to come to town a couple times a week and actually just visit with Luna and help Max in that situation with Luna. And I feel like that's a good thing for Max because he was struggling this episode dealing with everything else and trying to worry about Luna at the same time. So that was a nice resolution with Max, and we see that he finally admitted that he needed help. Now, let's talk about Sharpe, because she tried to be her niece's best friend or friend this episode, and that really is not going to work, man. When you're a parent, if you can't be like a friend to your kid, you can be a parent slash friend, but you can't just be a friend. You have to be a parent slash friend slash everything else. And the fact that she wanted her niece, I'm going to say this girl, but she wanted her niece Mina to just call her Helen or friend, she took advantage of that and started hanging out with this dude and not answering her calls because that's what she does to a friend. So she took advantage of the fact that Sharpe wanted her to call her a friend. And we see at the end of the episode, Sharpe notices that she took advantage of it, but she doesn't want to hurt her feelings because she lost her father. She's in a new city. And this is a lot for her to actually deal with. But at the same time, Bloom mentioned that, hey, Bloom gave her a nice little showcase of what happens when you don't actually parent these children, because her and her sister both became addicts and they can't form a successful relationship to save their life. So she needs stability. And we see at the end of the episode, Sharpe goes in her office to tell her, you know, like, to try to change their dynamic, because at this point it's not working out. So you're gonna have to be my niece and I'm gonna have to be your aunt, and we're gonna have to be a parent-child relationship, but we can also attach that friendship to that title as well, because she just took advantage of Sharpe this episode. And it really bugged Sharpe, but now she knows that she has to treat her like a child and not be her friend. She has to be her parent slash friend, if you understand what I'm saying. Overall, it was a nice episode, and it was sad to see that VJ's not going to be there anymore. And I really wanted VJ back, man, but you know, things happen in life, man, and you just have to move on. So we'll see how everything takes place from this moment forward, and I'm super excited for next week, man. This is your boy Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash the like button till you can't smash any more. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out.